I don't need God to be good, is a common accusation I hear from my atheist friends. But the problem is that despite the passion with which they say it, it is fundamentally wrong. I'm afraid that if there is no God, life cannot have meaning and life cannot have purpose. Let me give you a couple of reasons why. Think about purpose for a moment. For purpose to really be true, it has to be external, it has to be given. In my hand, I have a rock. It spends most of its life sitting on my desk, functioning as a paperweight. That's its purpose, that's its meaning. But where did that purpose come from? I had to give that purpose to this rock. When it sat on the beach in Scotland before I found it, along with billions of other pebbles like it, it had no purpose and no meaning. I had to give it that meaning in order for it to have it. And it's the same for us. If there is no God to grant purpose to our lives, we are in the same position as the rock on the beach. But there's a second problem that runs even deeper. Suppose as an atheist you say, well, I still think I can invent purpose for myself. I can sort of drag myself up by my existential bootstraps, as it were. Here's the problem. Whatever meaning you invent for your life, the outcome is precisely the same. On atheism, you will die, your children will die, all of your descendants will die, the human race will become extinct, one day the sun will expand and swallow the earth, one day the universe will come to an end, empty and dark and cold and alone. The outcome is the same, no matter what choices you make now. Faced with that reality, one of the leading atheists of the 20th century, Bertrand Russell, wrote, "Only on the firm foundation of unyielding despair can the soul's habitation henceforth be safely built." The only conclusion for the atheist, he said, is despair, because that's what we see as we stare into the black hole at the end of the universe. Can you live that way? No. Every single one of us has to live as if there is meaning and purpose in life, which doesn't necessarily itself prove there is a God, but it does at least act as a huge signpost, I think, pointing in his general direction. You see, if there is no God, the only alternative is that evolution has thrown up peculiar creatures like you and I, wired to look for meaning, even though there is none to be found. But if God exists, well. But the Bible goes further than that. In the beginning of John's Gospel in the New Testament, we read these words. In the beginning was the Logos, and the Logos was with God, and the Logos was God, and the Logos took on flesh and walked among us. What is the Logos? Well, it's the old Greek word used by the ancient philosophers to denote the meaning of life. In other words, the Bible is saying the meaning of life is not an intellectual mystery to be solved, but a person to be known, a person whose name is Jesus. Do you know him?